I'm Lou Brutus. Sebastian Danzig from Palaye Royale is my guest, but also Nishka, his pup, is here, who definitely knows that I am a dog person and is curling up for rubs and a nap.
Absolutely.
How are you? Congratulations. The set today was just stupidly good.
Thank you.
Tell me about doing it, because there was a moment I thought perhaps you were going to sail away on the wind.
Yeah, for a second I was looking up when we were line checking. It's unfortunate, like, our tech was gone, so we had to go back to the roots.
Not blown away.
No, right.
Okay.
That would have made more sense. But setting up, and I was looking up, and all the truss rods were just swinging so hard. I was like, this is gonna land on someone and kill someone. So unfortunately, that was how it is. But the show was awesome. It was incredibly windy, but it was like every time we play a Wimmer Festival, the crowds get bigger and bigger and bigger for us. So it's nice to see that naturally growing, and there's not like, oh, we're playing main stage and something just happens.
Yeah.
So luckily, our fan base has been growing over the years.
You opened with, just an awesome cover. When the riff first started, I thought, it can't be. You did the Stooges, I Want to Be Your Dog. Had you done that before?
We've played that about 3 or 4 times before.
Yeah.
But it's honestly, it was just kind of, we were just out with Hailstorm, and I think when we walk out and we're very boisterous the way we dress and the way we are,
Sure.
we're all wearing red outfits today, and it's very loud with that. So if like you're not a fan of the band, I think starting with a song that most rock lovers know, it kind of already puts their head into a space of knowing where you're heading with the show. Which is, the first minute is like they're going to be turned on or turned off. So I really feel like that song captivates it, and Remington's vocals fits really well with it. It's only a few singers can actually pull that off. So, but his growl is like right in that rock range.
Also the way that song is structured, it seems like a really good song if you're playing a festival and maybe don't get a proper sound check. It's a real good song to open with. I thought that was probably by design.
That was also another thing, because it's like when you run into a situation, you don't get a sound check, and you just have to, your sound guy has to hopefully be running with you, so he at least has a minute before the songs hit in, to understand what's going on.
So. Nishka, are you having fun so far?
She's just like the most rambunctious person right now.
You good puppy, and everyone loves you.
Now she's gonna go down and do her exit.
Nope,
no,
not
she
food.
Doesn't talk.
I'm gonna put forth my reading your mind. I see in your future another cover. I see black, nothing but paint it black.
Actually, that's pretty good.
I heard you've been messing around.
Okay, I was about to say, I'm like, that's a little too weird.
I think I gotta go, Lou. Thanks a lot. You've been rehearsing at a sound checks or something?
So yeah, it was funny because when we do like certain shows, it's like our headline shows, we can play all our own music. But
sure.
When you're opening and like people are kind of like turned off just because
you need to bridge the gap.
You have to be able to show something, and we wanted to end with Paint It Black for some things, but sometimes starting with the cover and ending with the cover also doesn't solidify who you are as a band. So it's kind of like, do we start with Paint It Black instead of? But I think I Want to Be Your Dog just suits the tone.
No. That just the riff on that, and it's a fairly short song, so it almost acts as like an introductory piece.
Exactly.
I think that's a great thing. Paint It Black, I could see as a great closing song.
Absolutely.
Have you ever seen the Stones before?
I've never. No, I was supposed to go see them actually with our guitarist Andrew, and the whole tour got canceled. And then of course we got booked for our tour right now.
Yeah.
And, maybe I think they got announced for July and August. So
yes, they did. Yeah.
But we might be doing like a really big arena tour in that time, which would be great. But we'll miss the Stones again. So
what is this tour? Is this something you can?
My recent history of criminal record now is not going to be helping that tour cause much. So it might not happen, unfortunately. But it might happen. But it's something that like, they call him the Dark Lord. So that's as much as I can say.
Okay, fair enough. When you do get to see, and you guys are certainly no slouches when it comes to touring.
Yeah.
However, when you see a band, the Stones, or maybe not a great example, you haven't seen them, but a band that's been doing it for a long time, what are the kinds of things that you look for, both on stage and if you're touring with them off stage, that you can learn from, not copy, but learn from to make yourself a better person, a better musician?
Honestly, like we've been out with we went out with Corey Taylor and Stone Sour, and that was our first like kind of big rock profile tour. Every single one we've done has been very low touring history of cycles of people that they can draw people into a room. So when we went out with Corey Taylor, we were expecting this rock star ego, And when you meet him, it was just to meet someone at that status of his career and being like the most humble human being. And it's like if we've met people outside of it. We've met Rod Stewart and like just incredibly humble. And he was like same as Steven Tyler, like all the greats that we've ever looked up to. They're incredibly nice all the time. But when you tour with them, you don't know what to expect. It's usually their team that's a bunch of assholes or whatnot. And luckily, we were like with him. It was just every night he was just like an avid fan of us, and just seeing how his crew was able to treat everyone on and off the stage, and realizing like this is our chance to potentially make it or not make it or whatever it is. They're giving you all the resources too, and not. The problem is we've been on tours and they'll just like. They'll see how well Remington performs on stage and climbs things. They're like, you can't climb anything anymore. They try to take like away your identity. Oh, you can't meet your fans anymore. And it's like,
what's the point of going out?
Exactly. We're out here to make an audience, and we live in an age now that it honestly is very difficult because rock doesn't really translate that much on radio as much as it used to. And there's not a lot of outlets that are really putting it out there because rap's dominating it once again. And, the community of rock needs to be like not walking into a room and everybody like is eyeing each other. It's like when you go on tour with Corey Taylor or like Hailstorm, for instance, they're just with arms wide open, wanting to make your experience great because they've been in the same situation you've been in before. So that's like what kind of we took about from it is like you have to treat everyone the way you want it to be treated too. So.
Yeah, and one of the things that, and I'm doing this a long time. One of the things that has always bothered me about the rock community is that it often eats its own.
Absolutely.
And everyone is too tribalistic. Where, well, I like this kind of music, and we all wear black T-shirts, and these guys came out and they had nice suits on,
Absolutely.
so I can't like that.
That's the thing we've always run. It's always an uphill battle with us. Like we'll walk in, and because we take a little bit more care in the way we present ourselves on a stage, because the bands we grew up with loving was like the Faces and the Stones, and they were so over the top. But when they walked into a room, they were able to also deliver the music as they were as people, like on the way they've styled themselves together. And I think like that's so lost in today's culture of that. They like you almost get dismissed because you care about the way you present yourself on a stage. And like we bring out, like tonight we couldn't because of the wind and everything, but we always have our Vegas signs that say Palaye Royale, and it's over the like. So we're just making a statement. Like these people are paying great money to be here. Why not put on a show? Why not? If I walk on that stage, I might as well look like I do care. Because if I walk out there and just look down at my pedal board and play a song in front of 5,000-10,000 people and be like, sorry guys, I'm not gonna give a shit about you guys. It's like, no, they want to come and see you go crazy because they want to lose. That's what music's always been. You lose your mind and you want to you want to escape from your own reality, and that's what live entertainment is. If you want to listen to the record, you go home and do that. But if you want to be entertained, come and watch our show.
Is there any difference between mixing up genres a bit at festivals here in the United States and the reaction to that, and perhaps festivals over in the UK or mainland Europe?
That's what I think is really crazy for going to Europe. Like we're doing Pink Pop in June, and that's like Fleetwood Mac, the 1975, and then it's like all widespread. And I think everybody's excited about that. But then we're going and playing a download festival, and it's a lot heavier of a festival. But I don't know how it will be for us in England playing that heavy of a festival, because we are very glam in the sense way we do dress, but musically we're not. We just had like a bad experience being out with a band that's on that bill with doing like the whole download stuff that's in that heavy circuit, and we went and thinking they would be open to it because they're such a different band, but like they're so small-minded, and it's unfortunate.
That's too bad.
So hopefully it's gonna go well. Like having the support of Corey Taylor and Slipknot is kind of like a nice thing. So like he, this whole thing with me getting arrested in Boston, he's like, I need a shirt, I want to support it. I'm like, at least the person that all these rock fans do look to, they're gonna be like, all right, if he likes them, then I have to like give them somewhat of an attention.
You brought it up a couple of times, and I know most people know what happened from the internet, which is, by the way, not everything you read on the internet is true.
This is true.
Do you want to say what happened?
This little one walked in the street, and as any good dog owner would do, I went and picked her up, and a car sped up, and I had a coffee in my hand, and I threw the coffee at the car that was trying to hit us, and he got out, wanted to fight me, and I went in to go to rehearse our sound check, and came back out, and unfortunately, like telling the truth to a cop put me in cuffs and
them Boston cops too, man.
It was so weird because it was like I was, they were wanting to get me for assault with a deadly weapon. and I'm just like, I'm literally sitting next to someone that's like, he's like, yeah, I killed my old wife. I'm like, what? Like,
what are you in
cool.
for?
Coffee.
I'm in on a coffee.
The only thing I was like, yeah, I'm in here for assault with a deadly weapon. They're like, oh shit. Like, I'm like, all right, at least I'm fine. But it was definitely, it felt like a fucking movie. Like, it's so crazy because the next music video we're actually releasing, there's a whole scene of us in our own jail cells. So we did that for 12 hours, and I'm like, I feel like I'm shooting this music video again, and I'm like, how do I have to pee, and I'm in cuffs, and I'm like, do I bang my head on the wall to like have them open it to go to the bathroom?
Mr. Man, yeah. Mr. Man. It was
awful.
Just so I can help you commiserate.
Yeah.
I was crossing a street in D.C. a couple of months ago, and had the crosswalk for a few it had already been green for me to cross. For a while, and 2 lanes of traffic had stopped. In the 3rd lane, there was nobody in it. And as I'm just about getting across, a woman flew through the red light, almost ran me over. I had to push back off of her vehicle to keep from getting killed, or at least maimed. She screeched to a halt, got out of her car, screamed, "You motherfucker, you touched my car, you're fucking dead," and then tried to take my head off with a baseball bat.
Jeez.
They tracked her down, arrested her, and
well, at least she got arrested.
Oh yeah,
that's a good thing.
So
wow,
people are crazy.
But I think like my lucky get out was obviously like I shouldn't have thrown a coffee at the guy's car, but that was my first reaction. I'm like, dude, what the fuck, like sorry.
That's what I did. When she got out, I'm like, she's gonna apologize for almost killing me.
And then this guy got out, but because he like put the emergency brake on and got out in traffic, it was like the moment he did that, he's a reckless driver, and I'll be okay if anything comes down that way. So I unfortunately had to spend too much money to go get a great lawyer, but I'm glad I did because everybody else that had the same infraction, I guess, of me being like the same people that had the same things in when I was in court, all got put back in cuffs and put back to jail that day. So I'm so glad I had the right person that knew what they were doing, and luckily I was able to like have the right resources. One of my friends, like, they were like, I have the best lawyer in Boston. They're gonna drive out to Worcester to get you, and they were there that morning, and luckily I was fine.
Chester.
Yeah.
Whoa, Chester.
It's awful, but whatever. It's life.
The exciting topsy-turvy world of rock and roll.
Yeah, I wish I went in for something cooler though.
Sebastian and Nishka from Palaye Royale. We are backstage at SonicTemple in the doghouse.